Hello everybody, I am Mantas from InnovaPoint, and today we'll be talking about how you can fully automate your newsletter campaigns in SharePoint. So as you see, I'm starting off from a list called contacts containing a lot of contacts information along with some additional info such as subscription topics that you can see right here. Now, let's say I want to use this list as my recipient source. If I want to do that, I need to open up the Jungle Mail app directly from the list, and the way that I can do that is by going right up here to the ribbon and clicking on Jungle Mail. Now, once we have it open, the first thing that we obviously want to do is quickly fill this out. So let's go ahead and start off with the campaign title that I think in this situation could be something fairly basic like newsletter campaign. Then just below that, we have the sending account, the recipient source that is already selected because we opened it up directly from the list. And for the filters, I actually want to filter it out based on list view because I only want to target the recipients from InnovaPoint. So let's go ahead and pick a view of the list that I want. So that would be InnovaPoint, and we can see that it works because down here the recipient information actually changes. So now we're ready to move on to the next step. Now here we can go ahead and pick out a template that we want to use, so we can go up here to drag and drop templates, pick something from here, maybe start with a blank one. But what I want to do is actually use one that I already created prior to recording this video. So let's go ahead and open it up. So here we are, this is what we're going to be working with. Now you may have noticed that right up here and here we have these question marks. So that means obviously that there is some information missing. So what do we want to add up here? Well, that will probably be the first name of the recipient. So let's go ahead and do that. Click on the block, and now right here on the right hand side, we can go to column and pick a placeholder that we want to insert containing the information that is appropriate for the situation. So for us, that would be the first name, and we click insert. Now the way that this works is it actually takes the information from the list that we selected in the very beginning, or rather we opened it up straight from the list. So it pretty much takes the information from the recipient source. Alright, so that's done, and we can move on to this place right here. So here I want to insert the subscription topics. So once again, I'll select what I want to replace, and I'll go to columns and links and find what I need. So for me, that would be subscription topics, because if we go back to the context list, you can see that they have subscription topics right here. And for those that are not subscribed to anything, we'll talk about how to deal with that a bit later on in the video. But for now, let's go ahead and go back to Jungle Mail and add the subscription topics by clicking insert. So there we go, they're going to appear there. And this is done, but what we need now is probably the main part of a newsletter, which is the actual news. So we're going to do that by creating a dynamic section first of all. So let's go ahead and click on this section and go to where it says dynamic section and switch this to on. Once we have switched it to on, we get this little table popping up, and we can pick where we want the information to be taken from. So for me, that would be right here under topics, right? I wanted to take out the information from topics, and the way that that list looks is this right here. It's just a short list of topics, and that's it, because that's the type of stuff we're going to need in the newsletter, right? We're going to want to separate it based on right here, topics, right? Subscription topics. I mean, you'll see how it's going to work. So I think that this is fairly clear. Now we can go ahead and go back to Jungle Mail, right? And what I'm going to do now is quickly set this up because I want to make sure that you understand how this is going to affect the block. So let's go ahead and put in a subtitle block that is going to contain the topics, right? So it's going to drop down a list of articles next to each topic. So for example, this, let's go ahead and insert the column once again. Under dynamic section, I would go to subscription topic, click insert, and maybe let's just change up the actual color of it, right? So let's get the color code right here because we want it to match, obviously, and changed up the background. So there we go, paste it in. All right, and maybe make it stand out a little. So there we go, subscription topic. And if we actually don't do anything with this, we don't actually set any conditions on the dynamic section right here, then what it's going to do is to every single recipient is just going to drop down a list of all the topics that we have. And we obviously don't want that, but I'll show you what that actually will look like. So let's go ahead and go to preview to see what it actually generates. And here we have it. This is what every single recipient would get. They would just get a list of all these topics. It doesn't matter what they're subscribed to, they would all get the same list. And obviously we don't want that. We only want to send them the topics that they care about. So let's go ahead and go back and actually fix this. So here we are. Let's go and put in a text block like this. Or rather, you know what? I think that maybe first I'll show you how to set up the conditions so it's a little bit clearer how it works. So if we go back to the section right here and we go under conditions, we can go to where it says subscription topic. It's in range of column subscription topic. There we go. So pretty much we're telling it to organize everything that is showing me based on the subscription topics, right? So every person should get the topics they're subscribed to, not all of the topics, right? So, all right, let's go back to preview and see what that looks like. And here we go. As you see, Aaron would only be getting human resources and places, related news, whereas, for example, I think this was Andrew that was first. So Andrew would get marketing, sales, and places. All right, so everybody is getting exactly what they asked for, exactly what they're subscribed to. And now what we want to do is obviously go ahead and add the actual article. So let's go back and add that. So here we go. Let's actually, now we can drag in the text block right here. Make sure it's in the same section. And now what I'm going to do is turn this into a dynamic block, right? Just by hovering over it, I can see that it's green instead of blue, like the section, right? So it means that it's not a dynamic block. So we go down right here, next to dynamic block, switch this to on, and once again, we get this table popping up that says, where do you want to take the information from? So for us, that will be under Jungle Mail News and pages right here. So let's click OK. And great, there we have it. Now the next thing that I want to do is quickly make sure that all the articles that are there are actually in English. So I'm going to filter it out based on this view. So there we go, English, and then set up the actual conditions. So for this, I want it organized based on article type. Right now, the location of this is where we're actually taking the information from looks like this. Hold on, there we go. This is what it looks like. So we have the article type right here. We have the title, the roll-up image, so that would be the image of the article, and the comments would be a sort of summary introduction, right? So let's go back, and we want the article type, right, to actually match the parent column, which means the location of the dynamic section, right? We want that to match the subscription topic, right? So there we go. Everything here is set up, so we can go ahead and move on up here and put in the actual content. So first, what I want to add is a title, right? So I go to columns and links, and under dynamic block, I find the title. So here we have it. Click insert. Go in and customize it a little bit, make it sort of stand out slightly, and underneath that, maybe I want to add a picture. So I click on here where it says insert image from gallery, and it opens up this window. So let's pick a placeholder, roll up image, because if you remember, that's what it was called in the list that we're taking this from, and then add some comments. So that will be the little introduction, right? All right, so here we go. We have that. I'm just going to make this a little bit different, and what I want to do now is, for example, I want to edit the picture. I want to make sure that it actually looks good. So I'll right click and click on image properties. And now I get this image properties box popping up. And what I want to do is quickly set this up. So I want it to line up perfectly with the text. So let's say I want the width of it to be something like 170. Then, for example, the height, I want it to be maybe 110. And as for this, I think that maybe we can keep it at 0. This we can make into, let's say, maybe 5. All right, and then down here, let's make that left. So here we go. That looks good. So let's go ahead and click OK. So there we have it. This is where the image is actually going to pop up, and we can see what it looks like by going to the preview tab right here. So let's go ahead and open it up. And here we go. This is what we would be working with, right? Oops, there we go. So we can see that the subscribers, they only get the articles that, or with the topics that they are subscribed to. So for Andrew, that would be marketing, sales, places, and let's see if he subscribed to anything else. Nope. All right. And then, for example, Aaron, I think, is second. So Aaron would get places, human resources, right? So he gets human resources, places, and there we go. But there are also some situations where a person is subscribed to a topic that maybe contains no articles for that particular week or month, however you divide up your newsletters, but maybe there are just no articles to display, or perhaps they're not actually subscribed to anything. Like, if I remember correctly, this would be John, number 5. So there we go. John is actually not subscribed to anything, and we don't need to panic in this situation because we can fix this so he just won't be receiving any emails if it doesn't contain information. Now, the way that we can fix that is by going back here and setting up a condition. So here we go. We can go right where we actually want to make sure that if it's empty, we don't send it, right? So from us, that would be the block containing the articles. We don't want to send it out if it's empty. And we scroll down after clicking on it, and we find this place where it says, sending conditions, do not send, email if result, and we click is empty. Click OK, and if we go back to the preview tab, we will get a little notification telling us that it will not be sent. So let's go ahead and see if it worked. All right, so there we have it. It pops up right here at the top. This email will not be sent because of email sending conditions applied to dynamic sections or blocks, right? So this email will not be sent out because it is empty, and all the other recipients that have topics that do contain articles and are subscribed to something, they will be getting whatever they are subscribed to. So there we go. We quickly put this together, and we can even send a preview email to ourselves if we want to check it out. But I think that everything here looks good, so we can go ahead and move on to the very last step. Now right here we can set up when we want to send it out. So we can send it out now at a specified time, or even set up a schedule. For me personally, maybe I want to send it out right now, so I'm going to go ahead and select this. And I also suggest that you take a look at this part right down here because I consider this to be fairly important. It's just a way for you to get more information out of every single newsletter campaign. I just think it's helpful. So that's just a little suggestion from me to you. And I think that everything looks good. So we're more or less ready to send it out. So that will be the end, and thank you for watching, and I hope that you found it helpful. If you want to connect with us to keep up with the latest updates, feel free to do so on our social media pages.